On the occasion of Eritrea's celebrations of Independence Day, what is happening in this country after one ethnic group took control of it? Eritrea has become among the most dangerous countries to visit, knowing that there is no war in the country.
The revelation of the killing of 9 of 11 former members of Eritrea's government represents a tragic and disturbing development in the country's political history. The 11 members, known as the 15 Group, had been accused of treason during the war with Ethiopia. In addition to accusing the detained journalists of supporting them through their publications and considering them spies and mercenaries, these members have not been formally charged or brought before the court, leading Amnesty International to consider them prisoners of conscience, imprisoned solely for expressing their views and criticizing the government. Political and religious prisoners in Eritrea are held incommunicado in secret security or military prisons, where they are not charged or tried. Families often do not know where their relatives are being held or even if they are alive. The families face responses from the authorities stating that they have no right to ask, poor conditions and harsh treatment, such as being held in metal shipping containers, and ongoing torture as a weapon of punishment, continue. Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, speaking to the Sudanese newspaper Al Rayale AM, revealed that he has evidence indicating the involvement of US intelligence with opposition detainees, claiming that there is a record of the names of intelligence agents, institutions and forces that cooperated with them. These statements raise further doubts about the role of external actors in the political crisis inside Eritrea and highlight the complexities of the internal situation in the country. The following documents confirm the death of detainees with the cause of death. Mahmoud Ahmed Sherifo, one of the first militants who joined the Eritrean Revolution in the mid-60s of the last century, and is one of the founders of the Popular Front. He held many important positions in the front during the national struggle and after liberation. Sherifu held many ministerial portfolios, the last of which was the portfolio of the Ministry of Federal Government, and he was considered by protocol the second man in the state, and he is also a member of parliament. He is married with several children. He was arrested on the 18th of September 2001, and his whereabouts are unknown, nor was his family allowed to visit him. He has not been formally charged or brought before a court. Date of death: the 21st of December 2003. Reason of death: chronic illness. He had high blood pressure and diabetic previews. He also started to suffer from asthma since he had come to the current center. As a result of the diabetic complications and throat infections, he continued to suffer. He died in his cell while being assisted medically. Detainee name: Beraki Gebreselassie, former ambassador to Germany and former Minister of Information and Culture, member of the current parliament. He was arrested on the 18th of September 2001, and his family was not allowed to visit him, and he does not know where he is being held. He has not been formally charged or brought before a court. Date of death: the 19th of July 2007. Reason for death: chronic illness. As a chronic kidney condition, he developed a high blood pressure. He has been receiving continuous intensive medical care. He refused to perform the operation, which caused his death in prison. Detainee name: Hamd Hamad, a former ambassador to Saudi Arabia and Sudan, head of the Foreign Ministry's Middle East Department, a member of the ruling party's leadership and a member of parliament. Married and father of several children. He was arrested on the 18th of September 2001, and his family was not allowed to visit him, and his place of detention is unknown. He has not been formally charged or brought to court. Date of death: the 11th of July 2005. Reason of death: accident as a result of a snake bite he encountered. Detainee died while receiving medical intervention. Detainee name: Estefano Sayam, a former army general responsible for income taxes, a member of the leadership of the ruling party, and in the current parliament. He was arrested on the 18th of September 2001. His place of detention is unknown. He has not been formally charged or brought to court. Date of death: the 28th of September, 2007. Reason of death: chronic illness. He had chronic diabetic. As a result, he had been suffering from various infections. Despite the medical assistance he was receiving, he could not heal from the infections, which had been worsened by high blood pressure. Detainee poison: Salih Idris Kekya, former head of the Office of the President, former Minister of Transport and Communications, and a member of the ruling party's leadership and parliament. Married and father of several children, arrested on the 18th of September 2001. His family was not allowed to visit him, and his whereabouts are unknown. Date of death: the 15th of August, 2003. Reason of death: accident as a result of the right side body paralysis he sustained due to his failed attempt to commit suicide by jumping over and rolling into the wheels of the vehicle that was transporting detainees from Dongolo to the current detention center. He died despite continuous medical assistance he was receiving. Detainee name: Asta Fissahatchen, former director of the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs, patient with a stomach ulcer. She was arrested on the 18th of September 2001, and her family was not allowed to visit her, nor is her place of detention known, nor has she been charged or brought before a court. Date of death: the 14th of April, 2003. Reason of death: chronic illness. The former detainee was suffering from chronic heart disease and asthma and had a sit-in from eating, and as a result caused stomach problems. Moreover, she did not take the prescriptions properly. A whole and a half box of pills was found in her cell. Detainee name: Ogbabrahara, former Army Chief of Staff and a former minister, has asthma. He was arrested in September 2001. His family has not been allowed to visit him, and he does not know where he is being held. He was not charged or brought to court. There is unconfirmed information that he died in July 2002 from injuries sustained as a result of a failed suicide attempt, using the glass of a woman in his room, who died despite medical treatment, and that he was buried in the Martyrs Cemetery in the city of Kanda, 45 kilometers from Asmara. Eritrea has a tragic history of forced disappearances and human rights violations. Eritrean refugees and asylum seekers face immense challenges, including kidnapping, indefinite mandatory military conscription, and repression in their